How's it going, everybody? November 5th, November 5th, November 5th. How's it going every November 5th, buddy? Everybody, November 5th doing okay? All right, November 5th. Let's get going here. All right. We are now in Daniel 5 and of course John 10. We went back a day because I had skipped a column and backwards and forwards is the film Tenet 2020, which does also help us point to this November 5th date. November 5th date for what? Of Zechariah 11:17. Mm-hmm. That bounces off Revelation 13:3, 13:12, 13:14. Revelation 13 is the 666 chapter. Fascinating. Hmm. All right. Belshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords and drank wine before the thousand. Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring in the gold and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple, which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of God. Now, this again, when Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, took captive the Jewish people, because they had turned into pure pagans. So God punished them by Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian king, taking them over and enslaving them. And of course, Nebuchadnezzar later was called to be a sheep and wrote Daniel chapter 4, the previous chapter. But yeah, go figure. So it's like he ended up becoming the king of Israel. So, hey. Um, anyway, and his son is about to get persecuted, and then by Darius the Mede, and then Darius the Mede becomes like a king of Judah because he also loves the Lord um, through his getting to know Daniel. How's everybody doing November 5th? Um, so then they brought in the golden vessels, which are taken out of the temple of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem. And the king and his princes and his wives and his concubines drank in them. They drank the wine and praised the gods of gold and silver and of brass and iron of wood and of stone. In that same hour, this is where thank you thing comes around with Wednesday. In that same hour came forth, if I'm not mistaken, November 5th is a Wednesday. Oof. From the TV show Wednesday, Thing, the writing on the wall. In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace, and the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's facial expressions was worsened, changed greatly. His thoughts troubled him to the point to where the joints of his loins were loosed and his knees smote against one another. The king cried aloud, "Bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers." He wants to know what's up. That's all he's got. And the king spake and said to these wise men of Babylon, "Whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck and shall be third ruler in the kingdom." Bum, 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 bum. Moving over to John 10, 3 through 13. As if that's not the Zerbruder film 313, if the Lord really did give us the date today. And it's also a 13th, a 13, 1 through 3 for Revelation. Like it. Anyway, to him the potter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. So this John chapter 10 is an amazing election predestination chapter, just like John 6 was. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him. This is what the sheep do when they get baptized by the Holy Spirit or hear his voice in the conscience, subconscious. Um, so when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And the stranger will they not follow. So once the Lord's cast out those demons, you will not follow that demonic realm. You will follow what the Holy Spirit tells you. But will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. This parable spake Jesus unto them, but they didn't understand the things which were spoken unto them. Then said Jesus unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. Jesus goes on to say, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. Remember, the sheep were chosen before the foundation of the world, Ephesians 1, 4, and 5. That fuses with Romans 9, fuses with Romans 8, 29, and 30. The fairness of it is explained in Romans 9, 11 through 24. And this is also the grace passage, Ephesians 2, 8, 9, and 10, but 10 being the key verse. But he that is an hireling and not the shepherd, whose own sheep are not, see the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep and flee. And the wolf catcheth them and scattereth the sheep. The hireling flee, because he is an hireling and careth not for the sheep. November 5th. I'm glad you're here. I love you very much. Ask questions anytime. That's what I'm here for.